Um, I mean, I think somewhere, in some ways, most movies are about, you know, your character or a character trying to find their identity, search for who they are and what they believe in, or they discover what they believe in and then they fight for it. I mean, I think that's but it's true that when I think about a lot of the movies that interest me, it's all about searching, you know? Sometimes for identity, but sometimes just for the truth, and I consider myself someone who likes to search. Like, I enjoy that. I'm always looking for what's really going on, you know, that's what I am interested in. It's thrilling to me. And I think it's fun for me to think of an audience doing the same thing. You know, movies where an audience is trying to figure something out. I like that. I like that idea. The movie's pretty strange itself, that it doesn't even need a strange interpretation. I mean, I think what's interesting about a movie like this is it will take time for me to hear strange reactions to it. I don't think, what I've noticed with movies I've made that are in a similar vein is that over the years people come to me with their interpretations and start relating to stories in a different way. It doesn't happen immediately. I personally think it's a very simple story, you know, about a man struggling to commit to his marriage. And it's that simple to me. Well, we filmed the two meetings of the characters over 2, sometimes 3 days. Denis Villeneuve, the director, gave us ample time and space and room to discover the scenes, because he wanted to give me as an actor and both characters the time to figure out how they might respond, to give actually room for improvisation. The first time we did it, which was when they meet in the hotel room, just figuring out the technicalities took us a day. Whether or not I was going to act with myself and a tennis ball, or whether or not I was going to act with another actor, and all of those things we didn't know until we were in the moment, until I could develop my own process, you know, with it. But most of all, it was just time, space to make mistakes, and go back, try it again. And what I would do was I would act the Adam side out first, because Adam was always less in control. So we would always start with Adam, and he would determine the choreography in a way. And then we would turn back around and we would do Anthony, and always in the Anthony side, I would have a tennis ball that I looked at as Anthony, and I had my lines of the chosen takes in my ear. And I would play with 3 or 4 or 5 of the printed takes, and then I would start to improv with them. And just being Anthony's second gave me a confidence to respond that Adam didn't get. You know, Adam was always like, what's happening, you know? And Anthony knew sort of exactly what was happening. And I think that translated in the process. Technically, it was really fun. I mean, I had so much fun, technically. I think Toronto is a very interesting city. I mean, I think that there's so multicultural, actually, as a city. I don't know if people really know that about Toronto as a city. And I also think that there's a really interesting kind of darkness. I mean, it's probably one of the cleanest cities I've been to in the world, but at the same time, there's something lurking underneath all of it that I always felt when I was there. There are these massive high-rises and, you know, buildings I was living in a building that was 100 stories high when I was shooting there. And there's this feeling of living in a space that's never really on the ground, you know? And a lot of people live that way, particularly in the downtown area. But there's just this ever-present there's something underneath that hasn't really been captured, I think, and this movie captures that sort of darkness, I think. And I also think that it is a city also somewhere searching for an identity somewhere also. Like there's a youthful quality to the city, and and yet there's an assurance of what they know who they are, and yet also sort of figuring it out there. I think that reflects the characters as well.